Shalom and welcome to this week's edition of the Rabbi's Ramblings. Hope you've had a happy, healthy, and successful week. Last week we were discussing how we can learn from a tree some lessons in educating our children. We discussed how we can learn from the fact that we need nutrient-rich soil and water in order to make certain that we have a healthy tree. Today, we're going to discuss some lessons we can learn from the fact that we see that we also need sunlight and air for a tree. Let's examine sunlight. There are two components which are necessary, or what the sunlight gives to the tree. Firstly, it gives light. It says in the Torah that lahazir gedolim al haktanim, that the adults are forewarned on behalf of the children. That we have an obligation as an adult that the child should do good. But also, the Rabbi explains, lahazir means to illuminate. That we are not here only to show the children that the Torah says yea or nay, but that there is a richness, there is a beauty to it. That when we face a confusing moment in life, instead of struggling with it on our own, we should look within the Torah to illuminate and make that decision easier for us. Also, we see that when it comes to sunlight, it gives warmth to the tree. It is most important that a child understands and feels the unconditional love of a parent, even when that said parent is upset and angry at the child. Unconditional love must always shine through. That brings us to the final lesson, and that is ear. Today, it's very popular to be concerned for the environment, when it comes to the universe, that is. But the environment in one's home, maybe not so much. It's one thing to tell a child that we should be giving in kind. It's another thing entirely to actually create that environment within our homes. If we want our children to emulate our ways, then we must actually create that very environment that we're trying to impart onto our children. And also we see that when it comes to ear represents space. That as much as we are the educators of our children, we must respect their space and privacy at the end of the day. If they have a hobby, we should nurture it. We should recognize each child has their own space, their own unique gifts. We see that the Rabbi would not have a secretary open up the letters that were sent to him. Instead, he spent hours of opening each letter by himself. For he said, if someone took the time to write me of a personal matter, I will not invade their privacy by having someone else read the letter. But the bottom line is that when it comes to raising children, or having a garden, we know that there is always the ever-present danger of weeds, trouble spots. And if we fall asleep at the wheel, before we know it, the weeds can overtake the garden, heaven forbid. So as parents, we must always remain on guard, and if there is a weed that begins to present itself, we must nip it in the bud. Good luck, Shabbat Shalom, and remember you matter, so make a difference.